I'm back at it with another Harry Potter DIY today, and I'm going with another Harry Potter wand because I've really been enjoying making these at the moment. Today I'm doing Harry Potter's actual wand because I had quite a few requests for it, and I'm going to be honest, it wasn't the easiest one I've made so far, even though you would think it would be, but I'm really happy as always with how it turned out. And yeah, if you want to do it exactly as I have, here is a list of all the things you will need, but let's get going. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is take a standard 10mm knitting needle, or one around that size. And then I used some Fimo air dry clay, which is just an easy clay to work with. And I just started by taking a small flat piece and trying to mould it around the top of the pointy end of the needle, just to try and make it so it's not pointing, moulding with the rest of the wand. I had a picture of Harry Potter's wand open in front of me the whole time I was doing this to make it easier to try and copy the detail on the wand. But here I am just trying to do the kind of triangle diagonal point halfway up the wand. If you take a look at the picture, you'll easily see what I mean. And I just kind of put a flat piece on to add a little bit of thickness, and then used a sharp tool to try and cut out, just like draw on and cut out the triangle bit. It wasn't the easiest, it did take a minute to do it, and then I had to tidy it up, but this was the easiest way I could think to do that. If you can't tell, I'm just using my fingers and the end of a paintbrush just to try and tidy the edges of that, and it worked pretty well. Okay, so when I was happy with how this bit looked, I did let it set for a few hours just so it didn't get moulded too much when I tried to do the next bit. So for the next bit, I just got another bigger bit of clay and rolled it out just a little bit thicker than the other pieces I had been using, and wrapped it around the bottom remaining bit of the knitting needle, as you can see I'm doing here. I haven't mentioned this yet, but having a pot of water on hand really does help when you're working with especially air dry clay, because it just, if it starts going a little bit hard or getting harder to work with, just adding a little bit of water, even that amount, works perfectly and just makes it easier to mould. There's not really a lot I can say to explain what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of looking at the picture and moulding the clay to make it look more like the wand. Now, Harry Potter's wand has kind of rough wood detail at the top and bottom of the handle. So to create that kind of effect, I've used this nail tool. But if you have like a pen or anything, would work here. It's just kind of roughing it up a bit and making it look, just kind of dragging bits of clay around. You can see what I'm doing. Then I just used the end of a paintbrush and my fingers just to kind of rough up the whole handle and make it look less neat and polished. So when I was happy with how the clay looked, I let it dry and set for 24 hours before I tried to do anything else. And then I got some sandpaper and just tried to sand like around the edges and all the bits of clay off that just weren't great. I used some fine sandpaper because I didn't want to leave any marks from the sandpaper. Just a little point that I added in some PVA glue with my paint, because I just feel like it probably gives it a better finish and makes it stick a little bit better. So you don't have to do that, but that's what I was doing. So I just used this sponge brush to paint it, and on Harry Potter's wand, the top half is a light brown and the bottom half of the handle is a really dark brown / black. So I just mixed a bit of brown and black paint together to make the handle colour. I ended up having to do about 5 coats of paint for this. I don't know why, it just wasn't covering it. I think it was to do with the clay, but it looked great after that amount of coat, so just painted it, let it dry and kept going. And I'm not going to bore you watching the whole thing, but here's the finished product. And here it is, the finished wand. I don't know how well you can see it. I'll try and give you a bit of a close up. So I think I've done relatively well getting the majority of the detail. But yeah, like I said, I'm really happy with how it turned out. It wasn't the easiest to make, and probably did take the longest, and took a lot of coats of paint for some reason to get this one right. But I'm happy with the final outcome. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up because it really does help me out. Subscribe if you want to see more videos coming soon, it's free. And yeah, Hope you enjoyed. Have a lovely day. Be safe, be happy, be ambitious, and I will see you later.